everyone. Lately, it's been scorching hot, so whenever I feel hot, I just can't focus properly. What could be better than a light statistic about the games I play? But what kind of statistic should it be now? Let's see. In the world of horror games, suspense and fears are always essential elements to create a memorable experience for players. And nothing heightens tension more than jump scares, those sudden moments that send players' heart racing. From sudden sounds to terrifying images appearing out of nowhere, jump scares are a crucial element in any horror game looking to leave a lasting impression on players. So in this video, I'll go through the 10 most interesting jump scares in the history of the horror game genre. Of course, before we begin, don't forget to leave us a like, share, subscribe and hit the notification bell to support the channel. Now, let's get started. Doom 3 Heart pounding moment in front of the mirror.
The UAC is here to help you. Psychological services are free and confidential.
Doom 3 is a horror first-person shooter game initially released in 2004 by ID Software, despite being the sequel to the famous Doom series. Doom 3 took a completely new direction by combining traditional shooting elements with well-timed horror highlights. One of the most famous jump scares in Doom 3 occurs when the protagonist is standing in front of the mirror in the restroom. As the player focuses on examining the details in the mirror, suddenly a terrifying creature appears in the reflection and attacks the main character from behind. This heart-pounding jump scare is highly effective because it exploits a familiar situation that many people have experienced: standing in front of a mirror and seeing something terrifying reflected back. This makes the player feel very familiar and pathetic, increasing the horror when the jump scare happens. It can be said that the mirror jump scare in Doom 3 has become an icon of horror in the gaming world. It has been mentioned many times in discussions about the most memorable jump scares and has inspired many other games to create a similar moment. Condemn, Criminal Origins, backtrack and frighten out of your wits. Condemn, Criminal Origins is set in a crime-ridden city full of mysteries and horrors, where players control a police officer investigating inhumane murder cases. One of the most memorable jump scares in Condemn Criminal Origins occurs when the main character turns around and suddenly sees terrifying statues behind them. This scene makes players feel extremely uneasy at the statues, with twist faces and frightening expressions. Tap into deep-seated fears in the human subconscious. It evokes images of horror that players may have experienced in real life. The jump scare with the terrifying statues in Condemn Criminal Origins has become one of the most memorable horrifying moments in gaming history. It effectively taps into humans' deep-seated fears and leaves a lasting impression on players' minds. The Evil Within, Corpses Awakening. Before Ghostwire Tokyo, Tango Gameworks delivered the masterpiece, The Evil Within, depicting the horrifying adventures of a detective in a nightmarish virtual world that he must navigate through. In one segment of The Evil Within, the main character, Sebastian Castellanos, is traversing through an abandoned, dilapidated building. As he passes by a corpse lying on the floor, suddenly the arm of the corpse grabs hold of Sebastian's leg, causing him to panic. This jump scare is highly effective because it taps into humanity's deep-seated fear of things that are presumed to be dead. When seeing a corpse, players may feel a sense of safety, but when that corpse unexpectedly comes alive and attacks the protagonist, the horror reaches its peak. The unexpected arm in The Evil Within has become one of the most memorable, terrifying moments in the game. It skillfully exploits the fear of death and surprise, making players feel unsafe anywhere in the game. Outlast, opening the door to Chris Walker. Outlast is a survival horror game released in 2013 by Red Barrel Studio. The game puts players in the role of Miles Upshaw, a journalist investigating a mysterious psychiatric institution with dark secrets. In one scene of Outlast, Miles has to open a door to continue his journey. As the door opens, players are suddenly confronted by Chris Walker, an extremely terrifying character in the game, standing right behind the door, ready to attack. This jump scare immediately creates a sense of unease and panic for players as they don't know what awaits them behind the door. Chris Walker's sudden appearance forces players to face immediate danger, intensifying their feelings of tension and fear. It can be said that the jump scare with Chris Walker standing behind the door in Outlast has become one of the most terrifying and haunting moments of the game. It not only startles players, but also creates a sense of chaos and concern about the continuous threats from all sides. This increases the overall allure and tension of the gaming experience. Silent Hill Downpour, watch your back. Silent Hill Downpour is a part of a famous horror game series, Silent Hill, released in 2012 by Vatra Game. The game revolves around the story of Murphy Benderton, an escaped prisoner who must confront dark mysteries in the haunted town of Silent Hill. In a segment of Silent Hill Downpour, as Murphy is moving through a dark and ominous area, he is suddenly grabbed from behind by a supernatural force, a scene that inevitably startles players. According to many gamers, this jump scare scene utilizes the dark space and eerie sounds exceptionally well to create a state of fear and unease. Being grabbed from behind leaves players feel completely out of control and uncertain of what will happen next, intensifying the horror sensation. This increases the overall allure and tension of the gaming experience. Layers of Fear, The Flying Book. Layers of Fear is a horror adventure game developed by Blooper Team. In the game, players take on the role of a deranged painter and explore the dark secrets of their decrepit mansion. In the segment of Layers of Fear, as players are exploring a room filled with many books, suddenly all those books unexpectedly fly towards the camera in a terrifying manner. This scene creates a memorable and unforgettable jump scare. The sight of the books flying towards the camera not only startles players, but also instills a sense of unease and fear about supernatural and eerie phenomena in the haunted house. Eternal Darkness, The Horrifying Bathtub. Eternal Darkness: Sanity's Requiem is a horror adventure game released in 2002 by Silicon Knights for the Nintendo GameCube. The game follows the dark adventures of a woman named Alessandra Droivas as she uncovers the secrets of her family. In the experience of Eternal Darkness, there is a scene where players control Alessandra Droivas, and a sudden horrifying flashback occurs, showing a woman dead in a bathtub filled with blood. This scene not only startles players, but also creates a sense of horror and dread. The jump scare with the horrifying flashback in the bathtub in Eternal Darkness creates a terrifying and haunting experience for players. It not only makes them jump, but also instills a sense of fear about the dark mysteries that have occurred within the Droivas family. This increased the overall allure and tension of the gaming experience. Fear, Alma and Point Man. In the horror first-person shooter game, Fear, players assume the role of a special forces operative of the Fear organization, tasked with confronting dark supernatural events. In a segment of Fear, as the main character Point Man descends from an elevator, suddenly Alma appears behind him in a surprising and terrifying manner. This ghostly encounter takes advantage of the space and timing of Alma's appearance to create a horrifying and unsettling feeling for players. Alma's sudden appearance behind Point Man leaves them feeling completely out of control and uncertain of what terrible thing might happen next, intensifying the sense of fear. It can be said that Monolith executed this segment exceptionally well, as it not only startles players, but also creates a sense of mystery and fear about the dark supernatural forces in the game world. This increased both the appeal and the tension of the gaming experience. Resident Evil 7: Corpse in the Sewer. Resident Evil is a name that carries weight with any gamer in general, and enthusiasts of the horror genre in particular. In Resident Evil 7, players step into the shoes of Ethan Winters, a man searching for his missing wife and facing a bizarre family and terrifying monsters. One of the most memorable scenes in the game occurs when Ethan explores an underground sewer system, and suddenly a corpse emerges from the depths of the sewer, creating an atmosphere of an extreme fear and unease for players. This jump scares takes advantage of the narrow and dark space of the sewer system to create a state of fear and unease for players. The sight of the corpse rising from the depths of the sewer not only startles them, but also creates a sense of a mystery and horror about the lurking dangers from all sides. This increased both the appeal and the tension of the gaming experience. PT, Lisa's Arrival. Even to this day, PT remains one of the most regrettable losses in gaming, as it may never see the light of day due to the conflict between Konami and Hideo Kojima. Despite being just a demo, PT sent shockwaves through the gaming community with its gripping blend of horror and mystery. In BT, There's a scene where players traverse a dimly lit hallway, and the terrifying spirit Lisa suddenly starts running towards them, catching them off guard with sheer terror. This jump scare masterfully utilized the cramped space and eerie lighting to evoke extreme fear and unease in players. Lisa's sudden sprint towards the player intensifies the feeling of being completely out of control and uncertain about what horrifying fate awaits the character they're controlling. While Lisa's appearance may not be excessively frightening compared to other horror games classics, Kojima and the development team's brilliant execution of the scenario creates a sense of dread about the dark spirits lurking in the game world. Overall, jump scares in horror games serve not only stimulate players' visual and auditory sense, but also create a genuine experience of terror and dread. From terrifying visuals to chilling sounds, jump scares have become an indispensable part of the horror game genre. And that wraps up today's video. Hopefully through this video, you found some jump scare that resonate with you. Feel free to comment on the most memorable jump scare you have experienced in games to see if others share your preferences. Don't forget to share the video, and we see each other again in the next Quickly Gaming videos.